everyone, Ivan Rivera here, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Empresarios, powered by fortiusinc. If you enjoyed the information shared today, go ahead and let me know by giving me a quick thumbs up. And if you want to connect for future content, feel free to hit the subscribe button below and the bell icon up top. On today's episode, my good friend, Jason Alicea. Welcome everybody once again to my YouTube channel and to our show, Empresarios, powered by fortiusinc. The motive for this show is to simply introduce you to entrepreneurs and also people that just are doing great things in our community and our communities. And on today's episode, like I said, Jason Alicea, a very good friend of mine. So let's go ahead and we'll welcome him.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me here today.
Awesome.
We're going to share that over.
So Jason and I actually know each other for several years, I believe. When we say several, I usually think of 3 or more, but I think it's been a little bit more. Jason, how long have we known each other?
Think of it like this. I mean, next year we'll make our 20-year anniversary out of high school.
Wow.
So at least minimum about 23 years.
Wow, wow. And just for the viewers, what high school was that?
Kelvin Park High School.
Kelvin Park High School. I was personally born and raised in that community and graduated in class of...
For me, 2000, I think we're right around the same.
Yep, and I was class of 2001, not giving away any ages or anything like that. But one of the reasons I wanted to invite Jason to the show is simply because oftentimes we ask someone that we just find out or we get to know them for the first time. We say, well, what do you do, right? But oftentimes the question shouldn't be what do you do, but more so, who are you? And that's what I want to do, Jason. I want to present you, kind of use this as a platform, right, to get to know my viewers, for my viewers to get to know you, and just tell us, who are you?
Well, Ivan, as you shared, you were born and raised in that area near Kelvin Park. I actually was born and raised in Chicago. I actually moved into Montana Street, which is a block before Fullerton and Costner, right, but near the International grocery store.
Awesome.
So I was 5 years old when I moved there. My parents at the time were married, and stood there ever since. All the way up to, my mom sewed, I want to say in 2004, 2005.
Wow.
A lot of history there.
Yeah, for sure. And for the viewers, right? Because it's important that the viewers know kind of geographically where we're talking about. At some point, that was known as West Logan Square. Today, I believe it's known as Hermosa.
Correct.
And Kelvin Park area, if you will.
Yes.
Talk to me. I know we were having a conversation before today about Kelvin Park and how it formed us, and kind of like how we knew each other back in the day. If you want to just speak to that.
So do you want me to start from Kelvin Park or prior?
Your platform.
Okay. So one of the questions you asked early on was, tell me about who you are, right? So my parents met in Puerto Rico, married in Puerto Rico, and prior to me being born, they decided, you know what, let's leave Puerto Rico, go to Chicago, with the initial plans of going back when they were 30. Never happened. Parents unfortunately divorced by the time I was the age, I want to say 9 or 10. Okay. Went to St. Sylvester Elementary School over in Logan Square. I think it's right on Palmer near Kedzie. 8th grade, and I want to say freshman year, I went to Puerto Rico actually.
Oh wow.
So you may not know this, freshman year I was in Puerto Rico. Well, let me backtrack. I went to Weber High School, which was an all-boys high school. I started there. In December, I went back to Puerto Rico to visit my grandparents and decided to stay.
Wow.
Now, I'm very close to my family out there. My father is the oldest of 11 brothers and sisters. I happen to be the oldest of 38 grandkids. So really big family, very close family. So my father would send us every year to Puerto Rico, and I was very close to my grandparents out there. Like my second parents to me. So that's where I went in 8th grade part of the year. I finished 8th grade over there, went to Weber High School, went to visit my grandparents for the Christmas season, decided to stay. My mother went out to Puerto Rico for vacation. I couldn't help but come back with her. So my dad initially thought I was going to go back to Weber High School. And as you know, many of the guys we grew up with were around Kelvin Park. And I said, Pop, I want to go to school where my friends are at. So Kelvin Park was the first public high school I ever went to in Chicago. And that was an eye-opener for me.
Wow. And that's definitely where we met, right?
Right.
Tell us and tell the viewers, what was your experience at that point in high school, coming from the island, right?
Yes.
And I'm assuming 2 or 3 years in the CPS school system via Kelvin Park High School.
Right.
What was that experience like? And also, we tend to carry some emotional baggage, all of us. And to the viewers, when we say emotional baggage, I'm not saying Jason is messed up. I'm just saying as human beings, we tend to carry around emotional baggage, especially maybe even after a crisis moment like a divorce. So talk to me, between the age of 9 and 10, all the way to Puerto Rico and then back into high school, how were you able to associate all those feelings and emotions? How were you able to make it through that high school time or tenure?
Well, I'll share with you, for me, overall in school, it was one of the areas that I lacked, and I hated school. I really hated school. I remember when I graduated from high school, my father said to me, Jason, I'm glad you graduated, man. I wanted to see you graduate. And many reasons, a lot of my friends that went to high school with me, that grew up in the neighborhood, they actually, unfortunately, dropped out of high school as well. And, but I mean, going from a household where your parents were divorced, naturally, it was hard. In the beginning, it was something I definitely didn't want to see. As I got older, I realized that, it was for the best, seeing the difference between my mom and my dad. But I was also blessed to have amazing step-parents, which helped a lot because it helped me grow. So I felt like I had 2 moms, 2 dads. My father, definitely extremely hard worker. That's where I get a lot of my work ethics from.
Okay.
My dad, he's in the real estate industry, so he raised us on real estate. So I was able to get exposed to that and go on showings with him at a young age. And I remember, not to get off topic, but someone asked, "Hey, Jason, what was your first job?" Well, I could say real estate, but along with that, my grandfather in Puerto Rico taught me work ethic as well.
Amazing. Where
he gave me a box of aguacate. So avocado, for those that know, and I said, Jason, go over there and sell the avocados. Wow. So I started selling that, I want to say, man, maybe between 5 to 7 years old, I was in the sales at a young age.
So they were instilling that work ethic.
Yes.
Powerful. Now, let me just say this, a brief commercial within our frame here, that today in Spanish, throughout Latin America, but also I believe in the world, you could actually correct me in the comments below, but we have what we call Día Internacional de la Mujer, and in English that would be Women's Day or International, right? Day of the Woman, or Women's Day. Talk to me within your upbringing, because we've heard behind every great man, whether it's a father, a grandfather, a great-grandfather, is an even greater woman.
Oh yeah.
So who have been the women, or which women in your life have helped mold you, sculpt you, and sometimes even, right?
Right,
But
yeah.
talk to me about that.
I have several, and I'm fortunate to say that. I'm very fortunate. Starting with my mom, amazing woman, loving. Everyone would say, hey, Jason's sense of humor is from his mom. Jason's work ethic and his moments where you see him serious is his father.
Wow.
My grandmother, amazing woman. My wife to this day probably looks at my grandmother and says, thank you. Because my grandmother, she would always tell me, Jason, when you get married, don't be like most men, and this is at the time, that your wife will cook for you, but you don't clean the dishes. A man could support the wife in the household and help around. So it's a practice. Saturday mornings, our tradition at home is if my wife sweeps, I mop.
Amazing.
So I support her with that. If she cooks, I was able to learn a lot from them.
Amazing.
Along with that, my stepmother, she showed me how to love no matter what. What I mean by that is that some people I hear share stories about their step-parents that were not so loving, not so kind. For me, I shared with you earlier on that I have 3 children, right? The 2 oldest are my bonus children, which for many, what do you mean by bonus? Well, they have their father in their life, so they're my stepchildren. I always say if their father wasn't in their life, I would definitely adopt them and give them my last name. But my stepmother was able to show me that you could love a child that's not yours as if it was your own.
Wow.
I love this woman with all my heart. She taught me a lot. Along with that, my father's mother in Puerto Rico, my grandmother over there, taught me, a lot around faith. Both her and my grandfather.
Amazing.
How she showed me to this day, my grandparents in PR are going to make 60-year anniversary this year in December.
Wow. Now tell me their names.
Ramon Alicea, also known as Miño. I don't know how to say it in English. And Elidia Alicea.
So Ramon and Elidia Alicea. I know you'll be watching this video at some point in time. But today, on behalf of empresarios, powered by fortiusinc, and the fortiusinc family as a whole, we want to tell Ramon and Elidia Alicea happy
Anniversary.
Happy anniversary, number
60.
60. That's amazing. So to everyone watching, everyone that's connected to this great family, to Ramon and Olivia, our love and our support, our respect above all. Jason, you speak of what you've received. And we know that you can only give that which you have, and you can only take someone to a place that you've already been. Mm. And we were talking about your 14-year-old son earlier. Tell me, from what you've received, from all those lessons, even all those moments of chastising,
sure.
What is the major lesson and the main lesson, if you could only give him one? What lesson do you want your 14-year-old son to take throughout life?
One is, number one, family. Family. That was instilled in me by my grandfather. He always told me, Jason, as you see, we're a huge family. There's 11 uncles and aunts. You're the oldest of 38 grandchildren. If anyone in the family is in need and you have, you give.
Wow.
And you don't let anyone suffer.
Wow.
You have to support and a family united is a powerful family.
Awesome.
And to this day, I mean, every Sunday in Puerto Rico, they gather, they break bread, and it's a beautiful thing.
It's amazing. So you spoke about family and you spoke about giving. One of the questions I definitely have for you today.
Sure.
And I really want you to just use this time and let the viewers know what it is that you are currently doing. You know, we see you on Instagram.
Yes.
And your Instagram link is going to be in the bio below in the video. We see you on Facebook. We see you on social media platforms. But I also have been seeing you just in different places with educators, with children. Even this morning, he was telling me that you were out the house early in the morning. You were at a local bakery, grabbing some breakfast for the educator. Talk to us. What is that you're doing? Because I even saw you at one of the department stores purchasing some bicycles a few days ago.
Yeah.
I saw you at a couple schools. I would even say 3 or 4 in the past 2 weeks. And I see that you're just out there giving and blessing. And we know that the educator of educators said, it's more blessed to give than to receive. So as entrepreneurs, we're always out there hustling, some people would say.
Right.
Working hard, building that sweat equity. But I also see you, as you're doing that, you're giving. Talk to me about that.
Well, I'm sure, like you follow many motivational speakers, and one of them that I'm a huge fan, and I was fortunate to see alive prior to him passing, was Zig Ziglar.
Awesome.
And Zig Ziglar, he shares it, and I don't have the quote exactly to the T, but one of his famous quotes was, the more people you help, the more successful you will be. And I follow that, and that's deep in my heart. I really believe, like, all the years in sales and so forth, people say, Jason, you could sell ice to Eskimo, excuse me. And I tell them, no, please don't describe me like that. And that's a con artist. Me, I believe in helping. And it comes in with sales, but if you believe in the product that you provide, you're not selling anything. Amazing. You're providing value. You're helping a family further ahead.
Amazing.
And that's who I am. I believe in helping, I believe in giving, and I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about the youth. Right after Calvin Park, I went to Wright College, and unfortunately I connected with some other gentlemen from Calvin Park, which is not a bad thing, but we had bad habits from childhood.
Sure.
Meaning that we were cutting school to go eat at the McDonald's across the street on Montrose and Narragansett.
Okay.
I ended up deciding, maybe school's not for me. A year later, I ended up going back, and I went to Northeastern University. I wanted to become a teacher. So that's why you see, like, with the education, I tell people my nickname is a maestro, because I believe in teaching, and I love that. I love being involved with the youth. I've been involved in a few not-for-profits in the past. One of them was Save Another Life. I went for a short period where I was able to help this not-for-profit get this young gentleman out of a game.
Amazing.
Very emotional. I would take it home. It was hard. But you know what was the best thing about that, man? I want to say this took place in 2006, 2007. In 2011, I want to say, I ran into that young man. And I was a manager at the time at Chase Bank, if that's okay to share. When he walks in, he says, Jason, and I didn't recognize him.
Wow.
He was dressed in a suit. And I said, I'm sorry, how do we know each other? And he said, it's me.
Wow.
And I said, and he pulls out a card out of his wallet. I gave him this motivational card that I used to keep with me in my wallet. He said, I never forgot, I kept it with me. And he said, my mom and I, we have the best relationship. And my younger brother and I are so much closer because when he was in gangs, his brother was younger and he was obviously upset. And there was a lot of conflict at home.
Sure.
But we were fortunate enough to partner up with Ceasefire and get him out of the gang.
Wow.
And to see that where he turned out, I was so, I mean, it made me teary, made me
Amazing.
water. I mean, along with that, I've been involved with, at one point, YMCA had a program called the Omega Project.
Okay.
So at Red Oak Community High School, I did a class, class presentation for the senior group around credit. But greatest thing about that was I was able to share our story. I noticed the students were not engaged.
Sure.
We're talking about credit and how maintain your score, and they look like, the attention span wasn't there. So I told them, I said, put everything down. I'm gonna share with you my story.
Wow.
Kind of like our conversation now. I said, I grew up here, I went to Kelvin Park, I ended up in banking, started as a part-time teller, worked my way up to management. And I've been in management at that time, I think it was only a few years. At the end of the class, I had 4 young men come up to me. They said, Jason, can I get into banking? I said, yes, you can. They said, when do you need a degree? I said, not necessarily, but I do recommend, go get it. There's nothing wrong with, furthering your education and getting that degree because it's going to make you more marketable.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, man, you know what? So you went to Kelvin Park. And they could relate because Clemente and Kelvin are very, very alike. So at the end of that conversation, they walk away. The teacher comes up to me and says, how do you know those 4 young men? I said, I don't. He says, those are gangbangers. Those are troublemakers.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? I believe today they're going to change their life around. He says, why you say that? I said, because of the conversation we had.
It's amazing.
Sometimes you don't realize, even I'm sure you've had this conversation with people of things we faced during high school.
Absolutely.
Being chased. I mean, I fought at Kelvin Park, the park, was stabbed in the chest with a pencil. I mean, all those things seem normal. Where I share that story with other people, they're like, you went through all that? Are you okay? And you and I both seen a lot in our life.
Awesome.
And to share with these young men that there's more out there, and you can pursue that. It's not just the hood. It's just not, you can get out of the hood, and there's ways to do that.
Amazing.
But to the junior achievement, I've been involved with them. So as you hear me, I'm just passionate about the youth, and I'm passionate about educating, and I think that's where, it's been something that's helped me grow in my career. And so
Awesome. Well, Jason, at this point, we're going to have to go ahead and take a break. But when we come back, I want to hear a little bit more about maybe even some of the crises moments in your life as an entrepreneur, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll go ahead and bless our viewers with that information because I know you've got a story to tell, and that story needs to be heard. So
Absolutely.
We'll be right back.
Take care.
Hey guys, hope you're well. If you need a drink, whether it's a fruit smoothie
Or café con leche.
I strongly recommend Portage Grounds, located on 5501 West Irving Park Road, corner of Irving Park Road and Linder in Chicago. But you could also visit their website
At portagegrounds.com. And you can also reserve their conference room at no cost to you.
Awesome. Bottoms up. Welcome back, everybody. Empresarios, powered by Fortis, and I'm here with a very good friend of mine and our very special guest, Jason Alicea. Jason, are you having a good time today?
Amazing time. Thank
Awesome,
you.
awesome.
Glad to be here.
So for our viewers' benefit, I just want to do some quick, if it's okay with you, some lightning round Q&A.
Sure.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Let's go for it.
Very cool. So let's talk about favorites, right? So favorite food.
Lasagna.
Very cool. Favorite fast food.
Portillo's.
Awesome. I can dig you on there. Favorite color.
Red.
Now favorite color for clothing.
Black.
I dig it. Favorite book.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Awesome. Robert Kiyosaki, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that your favorite author?
I would say so, yes.
Smooth.
Yes.
Favorite place to visit.
Aruba.
Nice. What about favorite place to visit maybe in Illinois or even in the States?
In States, for me, States, Florida, Sarasota. I love Sarasota. I went there this past summer.
Nice.
Amazing. Beautiful
Nice.
beaches.
Favorite movie.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Ooh, Will Smith?
Yes.
Very cool. Favorite actor or actress?
Actor, I would say Al Pacino.
Ooh, I gotta ask. Favorite Al Pacino movie?
Right off top, Scarface.
Scarface, yeah. Very good. Any favorite actresses?
Julia Roberts.
Yeah, good. Hobbies or favorite things to do?
Hobbies, I enjoy bowling. I don't do it
Okay.
too often.
Are you good?
No. But But it was something that actually my grandmother and I used to do back when I was a kid. So,
Nice.
you know,
Nice.
great
Nice.
memories. I like it. And then me, beach, bro.
Okay.
I love to go to the beach. I love to hang out with the family at the beach. So a lot of my activities or anything I do in my free time seems to be with the family.
Very cool. Very cool. I have to ask,
Yeah.
favorite wrestler growing up?
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Very
That's
good. Favorite opponent of Hulk Hogan's?
Ah.
He had many. It was a long career.
Yeah.
Did you like Hulk Hogan with the red and yellow or the black and white?
Red and yellow.
Okay.
Red and yellow.
Got it.
Yes,
Got it.
sir.
Very cool. Favorite video game system or favorite video game?
System, I would say Nintendo. Huge fan of it. I just purchased the new retro one they brought out, a little smaller version.
Okay.
And game, huge fan of Mario. Huge fan of
Awesome.
Mario.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So one more favorites question I have to ask.
Yes.
Within our culture, we have what we call appetizers or aperitivos in Spanish, but we call them frituras. Fried food.
That's what
Favorite-
keeps me where I'm at, man.
Favorite fried food, favorite cultural appetizer.
Right off the top, acapulcas.
Mm.
I love acapulcas. I don't even know how to translate that in English. But it's amazing.
Some type of dumpling, just FYI, some type of dumpling. Now, made out of masa de guineo or made out of yuca.
Ooh, masa de guineo.
Awesome. You guys will get this information in the subtitles below. Now, Jason, thanks for that. That was a pretty cool segment. I have to ask, because I've known you for a few years and I've known your walk, your entrepreneurial journey.
Yes.
Can you speak to that? Because the objective of this show, at times we search YouTube and we search Google, we search the World Wide Web,
Yes.
looking for people that have, and I'm just quote unquote, made it.
Right.
Whether it's because of the big home, the big house, the fancy car, the big bank account, etc., etc., etc. But we know that making it doesn't mean those things. That's a byproduct of.
Right.
My question, I would love for you to speak to this point. Within your entrepreneurial walk and your entrepreneurial journey, because it's easy to talk about the highs,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but we know that you could appreciate the highs when you've gone through some lows.
Oh, absolutely.
So I really want you to talk about some of those lows in the detail that you would like to get into them, and talk to us about some, maybe even the chaos that some of those lows bring,
Right.
and those crises moments, but more importantly, how you were able to bounce back and be where you are at today.
Well, full transparency. I mean, that's why we're here, right? I mean, back early in the video, I did share that I kind of fell into banking.
Yeah.
I started as a part-time teller, worked my way up to management. Was in management for about 7 years. After 7 years, I decided to pursue a different direction, where the entrepreneurial side came in. I realized that, I don't want to continue working for someone. I want to work for me. And I approached my father to ask him for advice, and he said to me, Jason, if you left banking, I would recommend pursuing an opportunity in the insurance industry, with a particular organization that also had their own bank. He said, because you could relate to that. And that's where I took that leap of faith. Now, unfortunately, that didn't pan out as I wanted. And through that, I walked away needing a very nice salary with corporate America in the banking world, to now facing no business.
Wow.
And getting back into the workforce,
Wow.
taking a huge pay reduction, which made it very challenging. Very challenging in the sense because I had two homes. One home here,
Wow.
one home in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
And through that, I did everything I could to maintain both homes with a lower pay rate. But I'll be transparent, I ended up going almost a little over a year and working not only there part-time at the bank, but full-time at the bank, but obtaining a part-time outside the bank, actually not too far from here at Mike Anderson's selling Chevy.
Okay. Shout out Mike Anderson Chevrolet on Irving Park, kind of like by
Right before Laramie.
Laramie.
So the reason for the part-time was my wife, her cousin actually happens to be, at the time he was in Florida. He's a manager for a dealership, and he shared with me that if I wanted to consider something in that direction, there's a great potential to make great income. With that, it's kind of like taking that role of going into your own business because you're strictly commission. He said, why don't you try it part-time? The challenge I'm going to have for you is that you're not going to find a leadership that may give you that part-time opportunity. He said, you may come across it, but it's going to be very hard. So I met with several dealerships in the area, and I was fortunate to meet with Guy Cesario, who was the manager at the time at Mike Anderson. And I shared with him that I want to give this an opportunity, give this a chance, but I want to do it part-time.
Okay.
And he said to me, Jason, okay.
Wow.
So he brought me on board. I worked Monday through Saturday. I would start at 6 till 9 o'clock every day. Saturdays from 8 till closing.
So quick shout out, Guy Cesario, wherever you're at, Guy. Thank you.
Yes, phenomenal dude. So through that, worked 2 jobs, but it still made it difficult to pay the amount of debt that I had accumulated. So the lesson learned there was, okay, you had high income, but you had high debt.
Wow.
And that was hard. It was hard. So I decided, I didn't want to go that direction, but I went bankrupt. I filed bankruptcy.
Jason, I have to ask, can you speak? Today, when we're recording this video, it's International Women's Day.
Yes.
In Spanish, Día Internacional de la Mujer. And I'd be remiss if I don't ask you to just share quickly about your spouse, Nancy.
Yes.
And talk to us about this phenomenal woman and how she was able to support, the family, support the cause, but support you. Because, like I said earlier, and we're 2 guys, we're 2 dudes, we're 2 men.
Yes.
But we have to say that behind every great man, there's a spectacular woman. So talk to us about Nancy.
Well, Nancy, she's amazing. As you said, behind every man, there's a spectacular woman, and that's one. Actually, Nancy is, this is my 2nd time around being married, and I've been blessed, and I know this is the last time. Nancy has supported me every step of the way. No matter what, she stands behind me. During the darkest moments, I've been there where she's seen me, and I don't mind being transparent, where I'm on my knees praying to God in tears, but she puts her arm around me and says, we're going to get through this.
Wow.
And that's powerful. That's powerful because you need that. The last thing you ever want to do as a man, especially, feel that you failed your significant other. And whenever I come across an opportunity, because as entrepreneurs, sometimes these opportunities are presented and you see it and you get excited about it and you want to share it with her. And she tells me, if you believe in it, I believe in it. And she's amazing, no matter what it is. And so, many that follow me might have seen it in the last few years, a few areas I've gone through. But I think you have to go through that.
Absolutely.
Until you find the one where your heart's truly at.
Absolutely.
And I found it. I can say that.
So I have to say it, Nancy, wherever you're at, when you watch this video, shout out from this guy right here.
Thank you.
Jason, regarding those lows in
Yes.
our entrepreneurial journey, tell me how faith played a role. Because we understand that faith, it's almost like walking forward with the blindfold on.
Yes.
And you're trying to cross a stream or a river, if you will, and you're jumping from stone to stone with the blindfold on.
Yes.
We're told to walk forward, but sometimes we're not given the full details. How did faith play a role in bringing you out of those crisis moments?
Huge role in that. And this I have to give credit to, number one, the Lord, our Savior. I'm a man of faith, and I'll never deny it. But there's a gentleman by the name of Ken Figueroa, who's a State Farm agent in Niles.
Shout out Ken Figueroa.
Yes. Amazing brother. I love him. He's been there during my deepest moments in life, right? So I shared that I had to file bankruptcy. But at that time, I was supporting, I'm not going to name the bank, for privacy reasons, but this bank told me, Jason, by you filing bankruptcy, you can no longer work here. So I actually thought my banking career was completely done. And that's where you might have seen me kind of went to different directions the last few years. Well, Jason, that motivated me to go full-time into the car business. And then from there, I left and pursued another opportunity selling alarm services through a competitor of ADT.
Okay.
And through that, at one moment I was just at home. I remember I was crying because I was going through a real struggle financially. I couldn't figure out how I was going to get out of this situation I was in. Ken Figueroa, I believe God touched his heart and said, reach out to this brother. So he calls me, and he hears me in tears, and he says, everything okay? I said, no, everything's okay. He said, brother, if you need a better job or you need something, just come with me. And I said, I can't. And he said, why? I said, because I'm depressed. I'm at a stage in my life that I'm not the same Jason, so I'll be a disservice to you to go work for you. And he said, don't worry about that. Come with me. I went with him. This is a brother of faith as well. He's also a pastor. And when I was at his office, one of the things that I took away was the value of just being in worship no matter what time of day it is. Meaning that when we started a day, we would start our day with prayer. And then he had a sales board, and the sales board had auto, home, life, health, all the products related to insurance. But he also had a section that said prayer. He said, that's always going to be here because we want to pray over people. And I was exposed to seeing some of the people in the team pray over clients over the phone. There was a lead for someone that just wanted a quote, but they could tell in their tone they were going through a struggle. And I tell you, I was there for a few months. I remember one morning, I'm in the kitchen, and I look over to my wife, Nancy, and I say, I'm back. And she goes, what do you mean you're back? I said, Jason's back. He's back. And she's like, you're back? I said, I'm no longer depressed.
Wow.
God has taken me out of this situation. He's put me in a place with people of faith that we lead each day with prayer, that we pray over others, and it's brought me back to where I'm at, and I'm ready to go help people.
Amazing. I need to interject really quickly.
Yes, please.
But I really want to interject with the purpose. Because at times we're just simply afraid of taking different life walks or steps within our life journey. And more so, we're just even afraid at times to even speak about that component called faith. Because of the what ifs, what are they going to say? What are they going to think about this video? We started off about the entrepreneurial journey, the entrepreneurial walk, your favorite movie, your favorite food, but now we're talking about faith. And I really appreciate you and respect you for bringing that up, because faith is such a huge part of who we are as people. Whether you want to believe it or not, faith is a huge part of who we are. So I really want to appreciate it, but I really want to take for you to take a moment and just go ahead and look at the camera and talk to somebody out there that may be going through what you went through. Maybe right now, maybe even on their knees. They're about to receive a call, like you did, but maybe they're going to respond differently. And maybe by seeing how you responded to Mr. Figueroa, maybe that'll motivate them to say, you know what? I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to say I'm fine when I'm not. You know what? To the figurative Ken Figueroa, you know what? I'm not feeling okay. Help me. Go ahead and speak to that person that's out there right now, that entrepreneur that really wants to make it, is struggling within themselves, maybe even is struggling with their faith. Motivate them today.
As I share with Ivan and I share with many of you, I've been down that path. And it's dark, it's ugly, it's frightening. I know many times you may feel that there's not light at the end of that tunnel, and there is. Trust me on that. The Lord has us go through these struggles for a reason. He's molding us. Even though we don't understand why we're going through it, just know that there's a reason behind it, and you will progress, and you will succeed, and you will fulfill your goals. You just have to continue going on and remain in faith, because eventually you will see that light at the end of the tunnel. Believe and don't give up. It's just a dark phase. It's a part of your story to be able to help others as well. God bless you.
Awesome. I couldn't have said it any better, Jason. What's next? What's the next chapter in your life, or this chapter as it's being written?
Yes.
What are you looking forward to in the next few years of your life? I know you have a 19, a 14-year-old, and a 6-year-old at home.
That's right.
What are your plans, your goals, your dreams, your objectives? What are you shooting for? And I get excited when I start talking about these things, but when this year is done, and maybe even next year, 2020 is finished, what would you have accomplished in that time spot, in that time frame?
So just to make sure I have your question correct, you want to say within this year?
Yeah,
Or?
this year and the next.
Well, this year right now, as I share with you, I'm in a new transition this year, and I'm working towards building a book of business and the insurance side. And so right now it's really just organizing, developing relationships. The insurance industry that I'm in, we are very passionate about working with educators.
Okay.
So I'm developing relationships with schools, and I'm working my way towards Calvin. I want to make sure I get over there as well. But this year definitely is just really creating the right structure,
Awesome.
setting up the right relationships, and just putting this plan, because my long-term goal is within the next 3 to 5 years, I will relocate to Florida.
Understood. Okay.
So that's somewhere that both Nancy and I want to go. We've been planning this for a while.
Lots of beaches in Florida.
Yes. I want to take my lunch break on the beach and maybe meet a client and help out.
Nice. Let me ask, Jason. So you're currently here in Illinois, specific to the city of Chicago.
Yes.
Next 3 to 5 years, the plan is to relocate a little bit further south.
That's right.
But today, if there's someone watching that needs some assistance, that lives in Illinois, you could obviously help them. Can you help anyone else that lives outside, maybe an educator that lives outside of the state of Illinois?
Right now, at this current moment, I can only in Wisconsin and Indiana.
Okay, very good. So Illinois, Wisconsin, and in Indiana. And what we'll do is, just for all the viewers' sakes, we're gonna go ahead and put Jason's social media accounts in the link description below.
Thank you.
But we'll also put your company's website and pretty much a little bit more information as to how you can help serve them and their families. I think that's just important.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
Jason, I really appreciate your time, man. I really
Yes.
appreciate you. Tell your family that we really appreciate all that they do behind the scenes. Because sometimes we see what we see, but we don't see what's behind the scenes.
That's right.
So we really appreciate your kids, your wife, all the people that are connected to you, the Ken Figueroas of the world, the Mrs. Cesarios of the world, all the other individuals. And I really love the story that you shared today about the young man that you were able to bring up. I truly feel that we're nothing in this world if we don't give back.
Amen.
We're nothing in this world if we don't pay it forward. So, Jason, again, thank you. I wish you well in all your businesses, all your ventures, all your journeys.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, just know that you have friends here at Empresarios, powered by Fortius.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. God bless.
All right.
Take care, everybody. Jason, are you having a good time this
I'm
far?
having a great time. Thank
Very
you.
cool. So for our viewers' benefits, let's cut that. Let's go back. This show is oh damn. Hey guys, hope you're well. If you need a drink, let me tell you. Let's go ahead. Hey guys, hope you're well. If you're in the market.